I felt that theater could be a really powerful tool for change, both individual change, but also more importantly, communal change. And once I had latched onto that idea, I had to try to chase how to pursue that in my own practice. And I felt like I had two choices. I could continue being a freelancer and doing the work that I was doing, which I loved. And I was, making a living from that work. But I saw some real flaws in some of the models that I was working within, and I wanted to be able to change those models.
I was a biochemist in undergrad, pretty hardcore, lab every day type of biochemist, but I was sort of cheating on science with theater for a sizable amount of time. I was an actor, I was a director, I was a producer. I was the guy I was a company manager. But I just thought about it as the guy who got chicken and beverages. And I was just scouring the internet to find somewhere where I might be able to meld all of those skill sets. And the Yale School of Drama popped up, the Dramaturgy page popped up, and it felt like I was reading it, and I was like, wow, this is cool. I've never heard of this before. Wikipedia'd it, and it felt like a way in which I could merge all of my disparate interests into one cool collective thing.
I worked with a really beautiful, wonderful drag collective, and a lot of our work was really ingrained in critical theory and queer theory. So everything we were doing, we would bring books to the table, we would plan out our night, and then we would make these giant productions in the middle of Salt Lake City. And they were just a beautiful, wonderful way for us to share something with our community, but also have a broader sense of education that's outside of the education system.
Somewhere around 2015 was when we started seeing people like Helen, David Clausen, like y'all, who are really interested in merging a dramaturgical way of thinking with community practice, with theater, with performance studies, and trying to figure out ways that those can live together.
There were a lot of folks telling me I shouldn't apply to Yale. Some reasons were you're a trans person, it might not be super great for you experience-wise to go to this school where it's very elitist. And other people were you didn't go to a huge school, you went to a state school, you're from Utah, they're probably not going to take you. So there were a lot of no's telling me not to come here.
Yeah, don't assume that you're not a dramaturg because you haven't been one before. Yeah. Don't assume that you're not a Yale person because this hasn't felt like a place that you belonged before. This place can hold a lot, and a lot of people and a lot of experiences.
There are so many more people who are practicing dramaturgs. There are many people who are English majors who've never taken a theater history course. There are many people who have just studied performance art for 5 or plus years. So it's a really nice, diverse community in that sense of education backgrounds.
Yeah, and it makes classes so much more interesting because you have people bringing in their art history knowledge, and some people bringing in the fact that they've worked with a certain dance company who we're studying, and people who are bringing in philosophy and religious studies, along with people who are bringing in a more traditional theater background. You get a lot of really rich complementing and contrasting points of view.